Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, I have compiled a list of the best value hydroponic nutrients based on locations and availability around the world. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, USA, Europe. I've got you all covered and they will all be linked in the description of this video and updated as regularly as I possibly can with both the places that you can purchase them and also the application rates for those fertilizers. So just a quick word before I start. I'm going to be providing extremely generalized information that is not tailored to any specific crop. So as with everything, growing is nuanced and you really should tailor the nutrient solution and the nutrition to the crop that is being grown. So I'm providing a very generalized fertilizer list because the list would be too long if I provided specific fertilizers for specific crops. So within the ranges of the manufacturers that I'm sharing with you today, you will find crop-specific hydroponic nutrients if you do a little bit of digging on their website. And once you find the nutrient that you're after, you can then apply that search to the online stores or the physical stores that are in your area, which you can then procure for whatever crop you're growing. So first things first, the fertilizer that I use myself. The fertilizer that I use for all my hydroponic systems around the property is the Campbells Diamond Spec T. Now that has an application rate of 1 gram per litre of the Diamond Spec T and 1 gram per litre of Nitro-Cal, which is used in combination with the Spec T. So when I mix up my nutrients, I add them into hot water. I add the calcium nitrate into hot water, I mix it up, and then I add it into whatever solution I'm mixing it into. And then I mix separately the Diamond Spec T and then add that into whatever solution I'm adding it into. So for my 1000 litre res, which is behind the greenhouse, I'll add in 1 kilogram of both, and that will give me about a 2.4 to 2.8 EC, which is my full strength solution. The water that I'm adding my nutrient into is rainwater. So it's as clean a water that you can get without an RO filter. And that means that I don't have any mineral calcium or anything in my water. So if you're having problems with your nutrient solution, then identifying whether your water has dissolved minerals in it is the first step in the troubleshooting process. I do have to pre-adjust my pH because my nutrient brings the pH down, so I add in a pH up adjuster before I add in my nutrient. Now, with my leafy greens, I do a half strength nutrient, 0.5 grams per litre of the Campbell's Diamond Spec T. Ideally, you would use a Campbell's Diamond Blue because that is a leafy greens fertilizer. However, I use one fertilizer for all my crops. That just simplifies the application for myself, and I find that it gives me a really nice result either way. I've been running all of my systems on the Spec T and it has proved extremely versatile. However, I wanted to diversify, so what I did recently was I got in contact with an agronomist from Yara Fertilizers. I wanted to utilize something within their range to do essentially the same job as the Diamond Spec T has. The reason I did this was because Yara is actually available to more countries worldwide, and I wanted the fertilizer that I use to be available to more people so that more people could replicate the exact formula, I guess, for what I am doing here. With that in mind, I purchased this. Now this is the Yara Kristalon Special. It is Yara's pretty much general purpose fertilizer, and with the addition of the calcium nitrate, it will get us through our leafy green stage of production. Now, to meet the demands of fruiting and flowering plants, the addition of some mag sulphate or Epsom salts, as well as some potassium nitrate, which is the Yara Krista K Plus, this nutrient will do all of the same things as the Diamond Spec Tea, which looks like this. I actually have absolutely no problem with how the Diamond Spec Tea and Nitro-Cal were performing, but it is a long journey for me to travel to the location of the store that I get my Diamond Spec Tea and Nitro-Cal from, and the Yara fertilizer is about 15 minutes from my home. With location in mind, this becomes a much more attractive option. So for the Australian audience, I've actually got a couple of quotes for the Yara fertilizers. The main two distributors that I could find in my locale and that have stores Australia-wide are Norco Rural, and they were selling the Kristalon Green for $125 a bag and the Calcium Nitrate for $48 a bag. It was also available at Nutrien Ag Solutions, and you can see the prices there, $140 a bag for the Kristalon and $60 a bag for the Calcium Nitrate. And Nutrien is Australia-wide. The beauty of the Yara fertilizers is that they are worldwide as well. Yara is distributed around the world and has international distributors in every country. So it is just a matter of finding a rural fertilizer and agricultural equipment store and asking whether they stock Yara fertilizers. This is probably going to be one of the easiest and cheapest ways for most people to come about their fertilizers. However, I'll leave links in the description to all of the Yara websites so that you can plug those into local systems. I would like to specify that I have not used this fertilizer yet. This is the fertilizer that I was recommended by Yara's local agronomist. So what I will do is, over time as I use it, I will let you know how it fares. And in the top pinned comment on this video, I will leave an up-to-date review of my thoughts on this fertilizer so that over time I can give you feedback underneath this video. Now, Yara also have crop-specific hydroponic fertilizers. There is the Ferticare tomato, the Ferticare lettuce, and the Ferticare vegetable, which are all alternatives for specific crops. So if you want to specialize, you can switch out the Kristalon for a crop-specific fertilizer if you do just want to grow a specific crop. Each division of these companies all have agronomists, and the best way to find out application rates is to call the division of whatever company you are interested in their fertilizers, ask to talk to an agronomist, and each of the locales will generally have an agronomist available to talk to about their fertilizers. They want you to buy their products. They want you to have information on their products for their applications. Now, I actually don't know why they don't just have information sheets or pages available of application rates for specific product applications within the agricultural industry. It would make a lot of sense, but they don't, and it frustrates me. Anyway, just quickly, the way that I store my nutrients is in a sealed tub so that moisture doesn't get into it. This allows me to put a whole bag of nutrient into a tub, and then I can just spoon out my nutrient or calcium nitrate, weigh it, and then add it into my hot water solution to dissolve it. And it's as easy as that. The reason that I'm not including any liquid nutrients is because they're basically just granular nutrients that have been added to water to create stock solutions and then sold as liquid stock solutions. There are ionic 1-part nutrients that are very impressive. However, the bulk cost of moving liquid and their generally lesser concentration means that they are in general more expensive. So we'll be avoiding those completely. All right, let's focus on the US viewers now. The US viewers will most likely be familiar with Master Blend. Master Blend is the fertilizer that is most prolific, predominant, and cheap in American hydroponics. Now, to oversimplify and generalize, most people will be using the 4-18-38 Master Blend. Now, this Master Blend needs to be combined with calcium nitrate and Epsom salts or magnesium sulphate. And I'll leave the ratios down in the description, but sourcing these individual components can be a bit of a nightmare for newcomers. So what I've done is I've compiled a list of websites that have been helpfully added to the Hoochos subreddit best value hydroponic nutrient thread by viewers and contributors, so thank you for that. In that there is a bunch of information that actually I won't be covering here that I just don't have time for, unfortunately. So if you want to head down to that thread, and if you have any information, jump onto that thread as well. So there are bulk kits available, which include the Master Blend nutrients and the calcium nitrate and the magnesium sulphate. You can get the bulk kits from one specific website, which is Power Grow Systems. They have bulk or smaller bagged versions, the bulk obviously being cheaper. And this is a good resource if you don't want to source individual ingredients. However, if you are willing to do a little bit more searching, there are other websites. The Grouchy Gardener, which is one website, which I will leave linked in the description, and one more for the US, which is Morgan County. And also for the Canadian viewers, US and Canadian, because they ship to US as well, I'll leave a link to Gecko Grow, which is another source for the Master Blend nutrients. All these websites will have updated pricing from what I've shown today, because fertilizer cost is going up because natural gas is the source of the Haber-Bosch process, which is the way that nitrate chemical fertilizers are synthesized, and natural gas prices have gone up because of the situations that are happening in Eastern Europe at this point in time. If you yourself actually have extra information on good value hydroponic nutrient that you'd like to share, leave a comment below and I'll actually put a stickied comment with all of the extra information that I can gather from the people watching this video that may have valuable information to share. So leave a comment below, jump onto the Hoochos subreddit, leave a comment on there if you like, and jump over onto our Facebook group as well, where there are other like-minded people where you can start discussions and share photos and generally have a good time. All right, thank you for watching this episode of Hoochos, a fairly dry episode, but valuable information nonetheless, and I hope it helped you sourcing some decent value hydroponic nutrient near you. Happy hydroponicking, and I will see you next time on Hoochos.